Welcome. This is the opening video lecture for the Essay 1 handout. In Brightspace, we're going to be here in weeks 2 to 3, Essay 1 module on the content page. And I'm going to be working with this handout right here, the 1113 essay volunteering. This is the handout that explains the essay assignment and gives you a lot of the requirements. Now you'll also see more information about developing the essay in the separate submodules. That's walking through what is an essay, what is pre-writing and all of that. But this gives you the kind of the facts, like how long it needs to be and all of that. First of all, due dates will be in Brightspace. So you can check on the calendar and as well at the Essay 1 submission folder at the end of the module on the Essay 1. So you know that that is a proctored assignment. So right down here at the end of this week, Essay 1, you'll see Essay 1 submission. So it is due between the 19th and the 20th of June. That means you have all day on the 19th and all day on the 20th to establish a proctoring exam time of 2 hours and complete the essay during that time. If you are not using the Distance Ed Center on campus or not using ProctorU, which is a paid service, then this is where you'll find the proctoring letter that you have to send to your individual proctor that you've set up. All of these things, remember, are available under week 1 in the proctoring unit if you need help remembering what are the requirements. So like right here, you'll see the dates for this exam and basically what you can bring, right? So again, go back and look there if you've forgotten. It's all there for you. I don't ever, take that off. So let's actually go into the actual handout. So please note when I say pre-writing, I'm going to try to keep the terms pre-write and pre-writing separate. Pre-writing is that discovery stage of the writing process where you're just trying to think of ideas or topics or things like that. The pre-write is what you did last week as part of the assessment. And we're going to be using that as the basis for this essay. So please realize that if you didn't do it, you need to go ahead and get that done. You can't get points for it, but you can, do the pre-write to get started on this. But also, if you've decided that you want to write about something different than what you chose in the pre-write test, then that's fine. You can choose that. You just need to do another discovery. So for this class, your pre-write, is functioning as your pre-writing for Essay 1. And the pre-writing, again, we'll look at that module. That's just that discovery phase where you're trying to get on paper all of these different ideas about what you could talk about. And once you've decided what you want to talk about, all the things that you can think of that you could write about it, okay? So here on the handout, you're going to see the essay topic. Some of this is directly from the pre-write test, and other of it is a little bit more explanation about what you can do. I have read all of the pre-writes, and so some of this information is in response to, I think, some people were a bit confused. So let's look at the actual topic. Again, Mark Bezos says in that TED Talk that you're supposed to watch, if you have something to give it now, right? So if you want to watch that again, or if you haven't done it yet, you can go and find that link under the pre-writing assessment module. So that's under week 1 SSC assessment and the writing assessment. It is still open. It doesn't close, so you can continue to take it. And if you want to submit something so that you have something at least that you can write, then that's fine, but you don't have to. So if you click that, then you'll have to click, I can't because I'm not a student, so it's not letting me do that. You can click the link and it'll show it. If it's not working for you, sometimes settings go wonky. Just let me know and I can go back and make sure that that is available for you. Okay, so you're using that, but you can still change it. The one thing, again, that people did kind of get off track is that they wrote about what they wanted. Some people wrote about what they wanted to do as a career. They wanted to be a nurse, they wanted to teach and all that. And those are awesome, don't get me wrong, but that's not volunteering. A career is something that you're paid for. Volunteering is something that you give freely and you don't get back any, or you don't expect to get back any kind of compensation. So you need to change the focus there. Now, here's what you can do. And as I've explained here what I might do, you may have skills that you use for your career, but how can you think about using those skills in a way that's volunteering, right? So that's what you need to do to maybe change directions there, that you can talk about wanting to be a nurse as a career, but this is how you could also use those skills to help others outside of your job, right? So again, make sure that you've made that correction. Most of you actually did fine. You understood that it was supposed to be about giving your time freely. The length here is 600 to 750 words. That's about 2 to 2.5 pages double spaced if you use the required font type and size, which is Times New Roman or Calibri 12 point. Most PCs, if they have Word on it, have Calibri because that's kind of the default type for Microsoft Word. You may not have Calibri if you have a Mac or if you're not using Word. So Times New Roman is standard as well. Both of those are roughly the same size, so that when I say use those in double space, then, you know, when you get to the end of 2 pages, you should have pretty much 600 words. If you go 2.5 pages and you use that font, you double space, then you have pretty much 750 words. So it much more corresponds. So again, you must use those. Do note that if you use Microsoft Word, it might be defaulted to Calibri, but sometimes the font is set at 11 and not 12 points. So you have to make sure that you're meeting those guidelines. And you can see down here under formatting, I've actually listed all of those rules, but I've also told you right here that you can open up this MLA essay template that's here, and I give you the breadcrumb trail. So if you go up to our page and you go to general essay writing handouts, you're going to see MLA essay template. If you click that, so anything that's in a document format or a PDF is going to show up in this setting. Now, if you're just going to read it, that's fine. But if it's a document that you have to interact with, you've got to download, right? And sometimes if you just look at this document, it won't show the correct formatting. It'll squash things. So you can't just look at it and then think that it's good to just replicate it. You need to really open up the template. Now, this is saved as an RTF, because that is a universal file format. So if you're using Pages on the Mac, you might not be able to open up a docx file if I saved it as a docx. This will allow you to open it up. The nice thing is that even though you might not be able to open up a docx file, which is a Word file, you can save as in any word processing program. So what you'll need to do is, here is the format. This is everything is set up. All of the font is correct. The layout is correct. What you're just going to do is you're going to come in and you're just going to type over, this is correct, and this is our actual correct class date. And so you're going to put the day that you're turning yours in, and then you're going to put some kind of title. I can't remember what I used as the example title, but maybe that might be what I would title it, right? Up here, you're going to see in the header a place for you to put your last name. And then this is that page number function. Don't delete that and just type a 1. If you type a 1, then it's just going to be 1 on every page. But this is the page numbering function. It's this thing right here that if I click down and do this, it'll actually add that numbering, right? So double click, and then you're going to see some information in these that kind of tell you about formatting and reminding you about how to do things. Again, you can delete all of this if you want and just start typing. It's certainly set up for you to start. There's also a works cited page set up. You'll need to use that in a different essay. You're not required to use any kind of outside sourcing, so you can just delete this, no problem. And then when you're ready, go to Save As. And then you're going to use that file naming protocol. and you'll need to change from RTF to DOCX, and then hit enter, and then you will upload it in Brightspace, okay? So let's go back. Under style, this is an academic essay, but you are allowed to use first person point of view for this because you're writing about yourself. What are the things that you can do that you could give to others? So obviously your first person is totally acceptable and is really kind of required. But again, there's no research required. However, you know, if you're going to write about donating your time helping people learn to read, it would add to the academic quality of your essay if you actually gave us a statistic about how many people don't know how to read or how many people are below acceptable literacy rates. That would be totally fine to work in there. So if you're going to use outside information, you do need to document it, even though we have not done the documentation unit. So if you don't know how to do it, all you need to do is email me and let me see what you've done. Let me see the actual source, and I can tell you what you need to do or let you know if you've done it correctly. Okay. In terms of feedback, what you will submit during the proctored exam should be finished. It should be polished. It should be the best thing that you can do. And I will write feedback on it. If it is a C or better, I will give you an offer of that grade. But everyone can revise. So if it's below a C, you have to revise. You know, it's not passing, so you need to give me another draft. If it's a C or better, you have the choice of taking the C or trying to improve the grade. Or it might be a B. I have some students who get A's the first time out. So, you know, if you're happy with whatever that grade offer is that I give you, then you don't have to resubmit it. You'll just accept the grade. You need to email me to formally say, yes, I will take this grade. If you decide to try to better, you don't have to email me. You just have to redo the test or the essay and send in a revised copy. Now, the revision does not have to be proctored, right? I've got that first draft. I see what you're doing. I expect your revised essay to be just a better version of that first one, all right? So again, I'll remind you of those things once we get to it. Okay, so that's it for going over the handout. There'll be some other videos that kind of talk about the actual writing and that kind of thing. So remember, at any time, if you are confused or lost, just simply send me an email asking for help, and I will get back to you tout de suite, as the French say. Good luck.